Welcome back to Portal. If you guys didn't know what Portal is, because you skipped part 1 and watched this video first, it's a game where you shoot portals.
Oh, is that what those are?
Yes.
Oh, that explains a lot then. You know, this sounds like something we should have said in part 1 now I think about it.
Yes, we should have. So we'll just pretend like it's not part 1.
Or, like, maybe in an alternate universe we did say it in part 1, but, you know,
it's like in a time when we recorded this, but then the footage was lost?
It's some sort of, like, alternate reality, you know? I mean, it's preposterous to consider, really.
Yeah, like some sort of event that occurred where we may have had already gone through these sequences, and now we're experiencing some sort of deja vu.
We'll just consider it a parallel universe for now.
Okay. Can we call it Glimlar?
You know, that sounds great. Let's go with that. In the meantime, we're about to get Portal device number 2. Well, it's not device number 2, but it's firing mode number 2, I suppose. In fact, this was one thing I never did quite get, because we pick up a separate device, but it's just that one device with now a second firing option.
Well, because the device portaled itself to itself. So now the device is actually in two places, but both places are the same place. So you only see one device, but in essence there are two devices, just both running through the same space.
Is that the idea?
Hey, you're gonna play this game, you gotta understand the mechanics of portals.
It's like, I always just, as I understand, you know, it's like loading it in with the new firing option, but it's like it's a whole different gun. So like, that was one of the things I never did quite get.
This, by the way, the nice Benny Hill skip of me failing.
Well, it's always good to fail fast, as they say. Fail quickly.
Yeah, what I want to explain is, I'm not even sure this is the right way to get this radio. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to... The real way is you're supposed to go onto that moving platform, put a portal against the wall, grab the radio from there, go back, put it on the platform in the middle, portal back to this wall where I'm going through, and then jump in with the radio. But fuck that, I'm lazy, and I want to do the fast way, which results in, as always, is the rule of thumb, trying to save time always wastes time. Ow, I think
this must be... Hey, there it is.
You know, those leg braces will protect you from a fall, but they should protect you from acid.
They can only do so much.
Shell no longer has feet.
Well, she might need those. It helps to walk on things.
Well, that was leg braces for. Aperture laboratory.
Just roll that door.
But look at this. Ooh,
particle effects.
It's like bouncing balls.
It's pretty nice. I do enjoy particle effects. It's a shame they don't return for Portal 2 though.
Oh, I didn't mention this also. It's the same as in Portal 2, but you may have not realized it earlier on in Portal 1 because I mentioned this in Portal 2. The mechanic of falling into a portal is actually where you don't have to aim into the portal, it locks you into it. Like, it's magnetized to your character. But this is not really well explained in Portal 1. In Portal 2, there's actually a chamber in which there's, you have to portal into the floor, and there's a box high up, and all the walls surrounding it, basically, allow only for the size of a portal to exist in that box. What this does is makes it impossible for you to move away from the portal. So I feel like the developers are trying to guide you into realizing that you guide into the portal automatically. I also think this is the case because in the next chamber they do the same kind of mechanic but with a wider box, therefore allowing you to utilize not having to guide yourself away, allowing you to miss if you do, but if you don't, you just go right to the portal. Why I say this is in Portal 1 there's really no... they do a lot to explain stuff to the players, but they don't really have anything that does that. So in all of Portal 1, my first time, I didn't know that you could do that, and I would purposely try to aim to the portal and thus miss. It's not a portal in Portal. So yeah, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's one of the few things that isn't quite spelled out that well in this game. They do a pretty good job of walking you through and more or less forcing you to figure things out step by step. But that, you're right, that's one of the few things they didn't quite explain. Although it's a lot more pronounced in Portal 2, I will say that much.
Yeah, and they improved a lot of stuff in Portal 2 from Portal 1. But like I've said before, the only thing I really didn't like that they changed in Portal 2 was the jumping mechanic. In that you could essentially be bunny hopping in Portal 1, in which you would jump, and the momentum you carried was unrelated to the moment when you jumped. So if you jumped and then wanted to move forward, you could. This allowed you to jump continuously while keeping your momentum, you know, allowing you to travel faster in the game, and it's just fun to do. I really actually like the way you move. It's awkward but fun. Whereas in Portal 2, when you jump, however you jumped is how you continue. So if you jumped with a nerfed jump, kind of stopping yourself, you will then jump short. So you can't continuously jump because it'll mess up eventually, and I felt that was kind of, you know, annoying that they took that out.
The jumping is a lot more restrictive in Portal 2, and I can't help but wonder if that's by design, because there's so many more opportunities for platforming and so many other things happening. I mean, Portal 1 is pretty self-contained. Portal 2, it's pretty much open season. So I'm wondering if maybe...
Rabbit season!
I'm wondering if, like, having too much jumping freedom was a hindrance for the players in their testing. I can only speculate, but it's one thing that comes to mind.
I suppose so, yeah.
I ain't no science person.
I ain't no scientist.
Oh, that's another thing. I know that if you kill all the cameras that you can, at least, that you will get an achievement for it.
Really, was there?
Yeah. You can't kill every camera in the game because there are certain spots where you just don't have a portal gun. But
also, there are certain spots where they're on walls that can't be portaled.
Yeah, you're right. So there's some that you just don't have that option. But for each one that there is some way to destroy it, yeah, if you kill all the...
What is it called? Sticking it to GLaDOS?
I would have to look it up. I can't remember, but it's, you know, one of those little fun things. I'm not much of an achievement whore, but I'll get the ones that are, you know, physically fucking possible.
And
some of them.
Trivia, developer commentator would tell you this is a room where they purposely left in a little glitch you can do, and it's a skip to beat this chamber faster. And they left it in because when they saw playtesters doing it, they thought it was so clever. They called it the ninja technique that they decided to just leave it in.
Yeah.
And that's
you're absolutely right. Yeah, there's a couple places like that, but admittedly not a whole lot in this game. They went to pretty great lengths to...
It's pretty linear. Even Portal 2 is pretty linear in its design.
I don't want to say they railroad you, because that sounds mean, but there are a lot of places where they would take out or add stuff in specifically to guide the user to a specific solution. This not being necessarily one of those cases, because they do allow some freedom here, but... It's a little restrictive, and I mean, you know, for better or for worse, but it's one thing that they do make note of in the developer commentary.
Yeah, as well, like, there are several ways to get stuck in chambers in this game.
Yeah.
And most of them are designed to be achieved, in which case a GLaDOS will actually save you. One or two of them will actually get you stuck without the help of GLaDOS. One of them, I believe, is actually in the first chamber, and you can throw that cube into the door. Now, I don't think you could really get it through the door, but if you get it into the door will close, not be able to close fully. Interestingly enough, if it closes on the box, after a certain amount of time, it'll like wipe through the box, and the box will be jetted on either on the inside or the outside. It can't keep the door open the whole time. But one or two things you can do with that: A, you can stay on the outside, and the box will get stuck on the inside, and you're done. Or you could go over the box, grab it from the inside, and pull it in, thus being able to destroy the box, something you usually can't do, at least not in that part, right? And it's just kind of cool to do that. I actually have a video on my channel that shows that. I show all the different ways to get stuck in chambers, at least that I know of. But it's pretty cool. Portal 2 doesn't have a lot of those kinds of things, I don't believe. I actually don't even think... Does Portal 2 even have near to as many weighted storage cubes as Portal 1? I feel like it doesn't.
I would say probably not. There's more of the reflector ones, though. Well, I mean, in this one there aren't any. But, I mean, what it lacks in weighted cubes, I think it makes up for with the reflective ones.
Yeah, because I feel like there was a lot more placing cubes on buttons in Portal 1 than there was in Portal 2.
Yeah. Of course, Portal 2 is a lot longer, so it's spaced out differently, so it might just feel like there's less of it, but maybe it's just a stronger density of it in the first game.
This is a truth.
So it's... But, no, I think
see you, radio!
Oh,
you tried to hide from me. Now get over this wall!
Or not.
Goodbye, my music forever.
Yep. boombox is not a toy; it is a weapon.
Now, there's a name for that specific mechanic. I know it's called a fling, but I think it's called like a mid-air fling, like a self fling. There's like a thing if you there's like they had a name for it in the development commentary, I believe, when you did a one fling and then you did a fling while you were falling.
Mhm.
So they intend you to do that, I believe.
Yeah,
Because other players were trying to set it up before the fall or something like that, but then they intended to teach you that you could do it while you're falling. So they had like a name for it. I can't remember, but I think it's in the developer commentary.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of fancy schmancy names for like a lot of the maneuvers you can do in this game. I honestly can't remember very many of them. I'd have to look them up, but it's kind of cool that they had anticipated these things ahead of time.
By the way, I love the textures in Portal. Like this floor texture, it looks just like granite or something, but then it looks shiny like iron or silver or something. Like look at this.
It's
Like
pretty
it's been
nice.
waxed. How many games do you know of where the floors look like they've been waxed?
Well, it's hard to say, man. And of course, we find out in Portal 2 what, well,
They've been waxed?
not waxed, but we find more. We find out more about the materials that built this facility and some of the stuff around things that are portable. I
And,
guess.
spoiler, we may or may not find a certain waxing agent that Portal seems to use.
Because some walls aren't portalable. That's a strange word I have to think about when I say it. But yeah, some surface, like you can't just build a surface on anything or a portal on anything. So it's definitely something to take into consideration.
Have you ever seen the College Humor video? It's like if I had a portal gun, it's something like it's just a portal one, and it's this guy on his couch, and he portals to get like a beer, and he portals to get the remote, and then he has to go to work, so he puts a portal on like the outside of his building and a portal on the ground on the outside, jumps out, and flings to work.
That sounds pretty legit.
And so this is the first chamber where you're intended to get stuck. There's I believe it's an achievement for this one, and part of the radio achievement is this, because that's where the radio is.
And I see you're celebrating by having a seizure.
I'm dancing. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Huh. Well, good to know I'm not the one that dances by seizuring.
Yeah.
Seizing. Get that radio out of here.
There's two opportunities to do that achievement, getting stuck. Like, I mean,
Having a seizure?
get stuck in one of those boxes at least. There's one later on, but that's certainly the first one. It certainly makes this section easier because that thing doesn't need to be opened again.
That's true.
Another interesting tidbit: these things here are actually the way you were intended to do this section. You weren't originally allowed to portal on those walls to hit the buttons. You were supposed to go up on the lifts.
Really?
And I believe, okay, what was it? I believe it was like the lifts were much faster. I believe. Yes, I think you were allowed to portal. I think the lifts were much faster, so people were using them to do it faster or something. And then there was some like reason like that they made the lift slower, so people would have to portal on the walls.
I gotcha. Yeah, it was something. I remember when I played it the first time. I tried it with the lift and couldn't do it. So mission accomplished, Valve.
Well,
Trained me.
that's all from us. We are the Nutcases, and we'll see you in part 3.
The nutcases. I like it.